Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing today? How's everybody today? Hey, Terrence, how are you? Doing well. Friday. We made it. We made it to Friday. Alrighty. Well, let's get to work. How's the delay this morning? Better? Guess I won't know until we start moving the chart around it. Sorry. Get the chart going. Well, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon to those in the UK and elsewhere. Welcome to our Microefutures regular trading hours prep morning session. And we have some hints of normalcy in the market today. What a thing, right? So we have a nice inside night, and basically, let's see if we have an inside day. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, overnight inventory is pretty mixed, right? You can see a good chunk of volume above the close and a good chunk of volume below the close. So there's the above the close, there's below the close. But what's really important is that we're inside yesterday's range. Okay? So what does that mean? What does it mean when a market's inside the previous day's range? It means that if a market's inside the previous day's range, right, it is business as usual. Business as usual. No change. So if we open above yesterday's high or below yesterday's low, change. Yeah, business as usual, right? We were selling stuff yesterday. We're going to be selling stuff today, kind of in the same price range. Right? So for those who are looking for breakouts, my breakout friends, right? Breakout traders don't go for the breakout until it breaks out over the high or the low. Are we going lower today? You tell me, Mark. Now, PPI came out, but I have no idea how that's going to affect us, right? Here's the beautiful thing about I don't know. I don't know makes you unbiased. I don't know keeps you open-minded. So you can wait for your trade setup. Because you know how some traders like, it's got to go lower. The CPI was blah, 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 and it's got to go lower. And they'll be shorting the crap out of it, and it's not going lower. The beauty in I don't know is amazing when you're a trader. When you're a salesman, you don't say, I don't know. You're like, you buy this now, and you're going to be able to retire. I know for sure. But when you're a trader, hey, K. George, I don't know is your best friend. Okay? So if you don't know what's going on, that doesn't mean you're stupid. All it means is that you're keeping yourself open-minded, right? So does trading in the same range as the previous day mean that there should be continuation? Well, Terrence, let's rationalize this out. So if I'm selling stuff in this range, should it continue? If the exact same kind of business as yesterday comes in today, it'll continue. If you get a lot of buyers, this will happen. If you get a lot of sellers, this will happen. So everybody thinks that they should know what's going to happen to a market before it opens. You know what I mean? Everybody, like, look at Ed, right? Saying JJ doesn't know. Ed, do you know what's going to happen? You don't. You don't have a frickin' clue. Right? I love you, Ed, but you have no frickin' clue what's going to happen. Right? You don't know. So I don't know. Lets your mind be open. Right? Uncertainty. Exactly, Mark. So there's uncertainty in the market. Until we take yesterday's high or low, we don't know whether we have buyers or sellers. We're just going to have business as usual. So how do you and I make money off that? You just trade this back and forth. You find a nice range and you just trade it. Right? But as much as I love you, Ed, I am not going to take $100 million and bet on your guess. Right? So we just trade the rotations. Right? And the large money managers, they don't know what's going on because the economic news keeps changing. One day you got a tariff, the next day you don't. One day this is on, next day this is off. Right? So how do you trade that? Well, what you got to do is you got to have a trade setup that allows you to take advantage of the uncertainty. And the way we do that here in this Microefutures room is we look and see where the buyers are and where the sellers are and how can we transact in between them. And can we put together a business plan? Right? See, Joe works at a place where they manage $4 billion. They don't know, but they're doing their best work to find out. I'm sure they're working their analysts like rented mules right now, right? Right? You know, they got the whips out and they're just whipping their analyst. Go work on models. Go find out what's going on, right? There you go, right? I have no idea what the 10-year is doing. Not a clue. I watch one market and one market only because I like to focus, right? So what do? We look and mark where the lower stops are and where the upper stops are. Right now, yeah, see, on Tuesday morning they were ready to do a rebalance. By the afternoon, that thesis was dead. How the hell are you going to put big money to work if this guy keeps moving the target? It's, if you're a fund manager right now, portfolio manager, or especially one who has to talk, I wouldn't want to be an IR chimp right now at a fund when investors are calling in, right? I would not want to be trying to explain to investors what we're doing when things keep changing. So what we do is we just find our balance zone, right? And we find our balance zone. Our balance zone this morning was 52.97 half to 53.16. And now the discount zone is 52.60. We did a nice look below and fail of it earlier, right? Let's see what kind of reaction we get when we get down to 52.60. That's the only thing I know is that I can sit and watch and see if we do this or if we do this, right? Or if we don't get down there at all, we'll turn and do this. I like rotation because when the market's rotating, you have a shot. Now, let's go take a look. What's our order book look like this morning? There are some double-digit orders. That's good. Not a lot. And it's moving pretty quick, right? So when you do your analysis in the morning, right? When you sit down, you look at where the inventory is, you do your balance zones, then you go and you look at the price action and you're like, is this tradable? Can I trade it? Then you check your email from your brokerage firm. Have they raised margins? Right? There's a Fed speaker? Dear God, why are those guys talking now? Right, sorry, I'm just gonna go find my sticker for the open. There it is, right there. So the market will react to what people say, right? Somebody tweets somebody, says something, that kind of thing, right? The algos will pick up and execute. But that's not how investors trade. Investors are trying to look at, okay, I'm looking at these companies. If these tariffs change and they affect these companies' earnings, how do I model what's going to happen? And guess what? Earnings season is starting now too. To add insult to injury, right? People have to figure out, okay, the earnings are from last 3 months. What the hell is going to happen in the next 3 months, right? That's why, in a way, as traders, we have a little bit of an easier life because we can get into a situation and get out of it quickly. When Joe goes and puts $20 million to work in a stock or $30 million to work, you can't get out of those decisions like bing, bang, boom, right? It takes time to acquire positions. It takes time to get rid of them so you don't screw up things, right? So don't you get sense that the macro tariffs is causing a lot of panic? Yes. And we've talked about that, of course, right? Look at the order book. There's sixes and sevens and threes and twos on each side of the bid and ask. There's not a lot of participation, right? So what does that mean for you, right? Right? That means for you that you need to, number one, admit you're wrong quickly, right? Don't be a dumbass. Don't be stubborn, right? Because in a market where you have a 1 minute candle that can be 20 points, you don't want to be stubborn, right? The market's moving fast. So when you come in and you do your setup in the morning, right? Your due diligence, you look at the market and you go, ooh, it's a bit quick. That's why I like to trade in Globex. It's a little slower sometimes, right? Sometimes it can be very quick in Globex too, depending if there's a lot of news or somebody says something or somebody wakes up at 2 in the morning and tweets something. It can be a bit of a pain, right? So let's look and see. Right now, all the inventory is above us, right? And we are below VWAP. Now let's go take a look at a simple 1 minute chart. You can see that we were, let me just get rid of these drawings for a second, right? If you just look at a simple chart, you can see that we were distributing above VWAP. Then we put it on sale, accumulated under VWAP, took it up and distributed, had a little sale here that brought in buyers. But now when we're putting it on sale, we're coming right back to that cost basis. So if things get ugly, we'll take out that 52.60. Does that make sense? Because if we take out 52.60, everybody above 52.60 who's long, they're not going to be happy, right? So 52.60 is this morning's piñata low. That's all the candy. And if we take that level out, that candy is going to come falling out. Okay? So let's see what happens when we open this puppy up. So we're under VWAP. Do we go and grab that 60? And the balance zones are working nicely. The last time we looked below 60, it brought in buyers. And there was a nice quick trade from 60 up to 70. You know? Grab your points today, folks. Okay, today, a lot of traders will say it's capital preservation day, but when you say that to most normal people, they don't know what the hell that means. That means don't lose your money. Okay? Right? Capital preservation means don't be stupid. Right? If you've made $5,000 this week, get it the heck out of your brokerage account so you don't lose it on a Friday. Right? Always, always, always. Right? Pay yourself in this business. Do not try and grow your account if you're a new trader. That's when traders start to blow all their money. Right? They're like, oh, I can trade 20 grand. I can trade 30 grand. Just take that money and get it out of your greedy little palms. Let's see where we open this thing. And we'll just use this as a roadmap. Yep, there's a position at 60 yet, right? That's where the cost basis is. How long does it take overnight inventory to clear? Depends on what kind of customers are coming in. Sometimes it clears really quickly, James. Sometimes it takes an hour or two. Do you have other bank accounts to move? Yeah, you wire your money out of your brokerage account into your bank account. Every Friday. JJ, if you want to take the look below and fail from 28. 28 and 3/4. Oh, 78. Well, the market's stabilizing here. It's not an A plus setup. So if you are buying 78, right, I would not take that entry not 7 minutes before the open, right? But I'm just overcautious on a Friday, right? So if you are long, you know there's going to be a seller here at 87, right? So if you're long, just be be smart about it, right? Map out where the sellers are going to be and make sure you sell before those levels. So say you're long on an LBF of 78, say you're long at 82. Put some offers out here because, brother, they're going to be selling right there. The top of these candles, they are going to sell there again. See? Look. They sold right there. Now, if that seller cleans out and you got a couple of extra contracts, right? The next seller is going to be at 90, so go 88 offered. There's nothing wrong with trading, but you have to understand the environment you're in, know where your competition is, so you can sell before your competition takes your customer. When you are long, you are selling and there are other people competing with you. So you want to make sure you get rid of your inventory before these people take your buyer. Make sense? There's the next seller, right? Now, if those sellers see buyers, they're going to raise price up to 97.5. So this trade wasn't a look below and fail of my level because it never got to the bottom, right? And I didn't take that long trade, right? Because I was skeptical, right? Because I was short biased. So what did I learn? I learned I was wrong in not buying this level because it did not fit my A plus setup. That's okay. But before the market opens now, we found the bid pre-market and that's at 72. So when the market opens, if we come back to that 72 area, there might be a little business to do, depending on how we react when we get down there. Right? Business 101, exactly. Right? I've taken one trade today. Right? Also, I don't know what's going on in Liverpool, but my office is facing the sun, and it is like frickin' Miami in my office. It is so hot in here that my brain is kind of melting. Poopa, all you want to do is your A plus setup is here, brother. If you're looking at my screen, the market comes under 5260, goes above it. You go long, you put your stop here, and you sell here. A plus setup. Don't worry about the candle body or the wick or the twick or the twix or any of that stuff. You guys are really into this wick thing. I don't know why. There must be, because I never read the candle book. Hey, JR, you guys are really into the wick. It sounds like I'm talking to a bunch of candle makers, right? Where the market prints is all you care about. Exactly, Terrence. I try and buy on the bid, Jerry. I've been trained to buy on the bid and sell on the offer. If the market's in motion, I'll take the ask. No, they are not the same. Honestly, I don't know what the wicks are. I just look at the candle. I know that there was a transaction here and there was a transaction here, right? I know there was a trade here and I know there was a trade there. That's all I care about. I don't look. You guys can get into the candle stuff and that's okay, but you don't need to, right? You don't need to. You don't need to learn candle patterns. Just look for the seller, right? Look for the seller. See how the seller was there and then here and then here. Now the next candle is going to open in 4 seconds. And let's see if the seller is underneath 88, right? There's the seller. So the sellers have been competing and pushing price lower. That's what you need when you're a short seller. If it doesn't make money, I don't pay attention to it. I could care less. I have what I need to make money. I know where the sellers are and I know where they stop selling. So when the market looks below this level and fails, I go long, I put my stop here, and I sell into this. When the market looks above this level and fails, I put my short here, I put my sell there, and I cover in the middle. Right? That's all I need to know. Right? Now you can talk about all sorts of stuff, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. But I'm not writing a white paper on market structure, or I'm not writing a paper on trading. I just want to pay my phone bill. Know what I mean? So everything we trade in Microefutures, and we have that sale, right? 25% off, and you get 7 days free trial. It's cheaper than a Starbucks a day to get some practical information so you can actually make a buck and learn how not to lose money when everybody else is getting reamed, right? Practical information. How can I make some money and not lose all my money and then go play golf or whatever it is you do? I still haven't learned how to play golf. I guess, Terrence, you're going to have to teach me. Right? We want you to make money. That sounds great, stop, look, and listen, but I don't know about the falling VIX because I never look at the VIX. Lack of activity on the sell side. You know when there's a lack of activity on the sell side is when they see buyers. So if I've got 500 contracts for sale and I sell the market down to 52.80 and you're sitting there with a 5,000 contract buy order, I'm going to move price up just like this. You see that? Really simple. So the first part of it, competing sellers push price down. Good. Trapped short sellers are the fuel to make it go up. Good. When the big dogs stop selling, price goes up. Good. Now this part about sellers create the volatility, right? And all that stuff, that part I don't know about. Oh, sorry, we're open. Does that make sense? Is that helpful? I can't talk about what I don't know. So I don't know anything about the VIX, right? And I don't, you know, so I try and keep it like once again, man, this is blue collar trading, right? Where the buyer, where the seller, how can I make some money in between? So underneath the open, I'm curious to see whether this area down here holds. Because the bid was here before. Is it there again? Thanks, K. George. Frickin' Tesla. How's the stock doing? I haven't even looked at it. Took out those stops, so we have an aggressive seller. Yeah, I don't know about you golf guys. You guys always seem really angry. It's supposed to be a relaxing game, right? Thanks, Joe. You know, people always go to me, hey, JJ, did you look at the VIX? And I'm like, damn, I forgot to look at it again. Okay, I'm looking. Okay, what do we do now? Nobody can tell me. I'm like, I'm looking at it. Okay, well, so what's our next move? Right? Right? This business, do you remember the Flintstones? When Fred got a job in the office and he said, whose baby is that? What's your angle? I'll buy that. That's really what we're doing. Like, we're looking at this and we're going, what's your angle? Right? What's your angle? Right? I'll buy that or I won't buy it. Right? Look at all that buying that came in at 64. Right? There's some nice short covering down there. All he had to say were three things. Whose baby is that? What's your angle? And I'll buy that. That's all he had to say. Let's see if it holds 64. I'm curious. Nice trade, Lear. Nice trade. Let's see if it rotates up. Long 67. Oh, flat. Okay. Jeez. Yeah, let me know. Let me know. And feel free to share it in the room. Right? Feel free to share it in the room. Oh, boy. The only reason I bought that 67 was I saw that there were bids at 64. And as soon as I bought it, it jumped. And as soon as it jumped, I hit flatten. Right? Exactly it. I'll buy that for $1. It's all we need to know. Right? Folks, we want to keep this simple. Life is complicated. Right? Life is complicated. Let's keep this business simple so you can enjoy your life. Right? So you're not running around getting all stressed out. Leave the heart attacks for the institutional traders. Okay? Now, what are we going to do here? I think, I don't know. I think we're in a bit of a rotation here. Let's see. Right? It's like when I used to interview kids, they wanted a job on the trade desk. When do we get our first holiday? When you have your first heart attack. Oh, I don't think I want this job. It's true, man. I had a heart attack. One of my buddies, his dad was working. Geez, he was working some Microsoft order, and he just freaking dropped dead on the phone. I still remember that. It's like back in 96, 97. Right? So we do have a bit of a rotation, ladies and gentlemen. Right? Let's see if we can draw that out. There's a seller here. Where do they stop selling? Let's see where they stop selling. Here? Here? I'll say here. Now, there's not a lot of people coming in. A lot of stress. Lack of sleep, bad diet, stress. Just heap all of those things up. Perfect recipe. No exercise. Eh, smoking a pack and a half a day. Okay, so let's see if we look below 72 and come back up. There's a seller at 72. See how aggressive they are. See, you see there's an aggressive seller right there. You can see that they're right there. Right? Then they lift once they clean out their sell order. Now, if you're going long, right, you got your look below and fail of 72. Boom, boom. There's your look below. There's your fail. So you go long 73, 74, sell into the 78s. Bang, bang, bang. Let them have it. Let them have it. Right? Boom. Hit them, hit them, hit them, hit them. Right? Long 73, 74. Out in the 80s. Right? Take your money and run. Thanks for coming out. That's how you trade rotations. Right? Get yourself a nice rotation. Now, on the short side, the only reason you'd be shorting that rotation is if there's a seller at VWAP. Right? If that seller at VWAP goes bye-bye, be careful. Because they're your backup. Right? The VWAP seller is your backup. Right? So if it starts moving around and futzing around here and starts creeping above VWAP, govern yourselves accordingly. Okay? That's why you want to wait until it gets back under 92 to hit it, and then you got a place to put your stop. Be very careful. See how it's... See, that is a no-no. No, 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 no. I mean, you're not going to suck me into shorting. Right? Right? We want to use the charts to make us street smart. Right? So, you know, these guys are out there. They want to sell us a fake Rolex and charge us 30 grand for it. We know better. Okay, what's next? And when you're a short seller, what you really want to see is you want to see an aggressive seller. What does that mean? Right? So that's an aggressive seller right there. Thank you, market, for showing us. Right? So if you're short 92, you got your stop up here, and then that seller comes and bangs it down, you just buy it back real quick. Right? Real quick. Don't wait for an invitation to cover, because as soon as a buyer comes in, they're going to lift the offer. Right? But now you know where your playground is, right? So if you had just come in and started trading, right? You would go, "Oh, there's a balance zone here." They kind of stopped selling at 72, and they start where they start in is this sort of under 95. You guys see that? So what you want to do is you want to trade from the outside in, from the outside in. But don't trade up here or down here, right? Let them bring the market back into the green box, right? So then you got a place to put your stop. Make sense? Let other people take the risk, right? You don't need to be a hero, right? Let others take the risk, right? You don't want to be first, right? You're not Ricky Bobby. If you ain't first, you're last, right? This is not Talladega Nights, right? You let Ricky Bobby go and crash or get through, and then you follow, okay? Right? Think of yourself as a retail trader, as somebody who like wants to weasel something out, but you don't want to get your hand chopped off. See, look at how nicely it's working. There's the bottom, there's the top. And what you like is a nice rotation. And the reason why we're getting that rotation is because the wholesalers, remember what we said, that it's business as usual? So it's nice, quiet business as usual. And we are inside yesterday's range, and we're inside yesterday's value area. Right? So you just take those trades from the inside, right? From the outside in. Now, when it starts doing this, this is when breakout traders will try and buy this, right? But you know that there was a seller here, and you know that there was a seller here. So if you are a breakout trader, make sure you sell, right? Make sure you sell before somebody comes and steals your customer, right? And if you're shorting, that's why we want to look above and fail instead of just trying to catch this, because you never want to short the front end of a move. And let's see if my setup fits the price action, right? How you doing, AZS? The other thing on days like this, I know it's tempting. Don't let them suck you into over trading, right? Make your money and then shut it off. I know a lot of people say you should push your edge, and that's okay if you're a senior trader with experience. If you're a new trader and you make some dough, hold on to it. Okay? Hold on to it. You know, this business is like Vegas. You ever notice, like, I used to have these really rich clients that go to Vegas, and I'd go to Vegas with them, and, they'd lose like three, four, $500,000. Or they'd be up 30, 40 grand. Next thing you know, they send all this fancy booze and really nice cigars. Then all of a sudden there's three really pretty girls standing around, right? Next thing you know, the guy's down 200 grand. Hello. Right? Exactly, Terrence. Get in, get out, get paid, go to the beach. 16 and a quarter. Now we're going to take that. I was just going to say, as soon as we take that stop, it's going to create some buying. As you can see, the levels are working pretty nice. It's a little fast, right? The price action's a little quick. So, and if you're not used to trading quickly, right? Don't worry, right? Do some watching. What you want to do is, if you're a new trader, after you've watched this session or traded this session, what I like to do, like Saturday morning, I like to rewind my charts and replay my charts like watching game film in football. Right? Always working on your skill. Listen, if you bought that breakout from 95 and it worked out for you, beautiful, right? Beautiful. I am not a breakout trader because I've been trained to sell size into that breakout. But hey, if the buyers want to buy it here and here and here, I'll keep selling it higher. I don't mind. Simple information. Now, we're above VWAP, ladies and gentlemen. So once you have your position, you go and you distribute it above VWAP. CR Charts is not free. Uh, I don't think any charting software is free, is it? I mean, with real-time information, you've got to... those exchanges, they want their money, right? The CME, they want their money, right? NASDAQ, New York, they all want their money, right? Sierra Chart requires one good long weekend and a lot of coffee, right? If you join our trading room, I'll just give you a chart book, right? And then you'll have my charts. It took me an entire Memorial Day weekend to set it up properly. Right? Once you set it up and you use it, I like it because it's never crashed on me. Okay, let's see if we hold that 16-15 area. Oh, found some bids, lifting the offer. Now, market profile people, can we move that point of control from 5280 up here? In the futures room, there's on the side of Discord, there's something that says software, and there'll be like Sierra, it'll have JJ's chart books. See, look, the point of control moved up. So that means, what does that mean? That means we took this stuff and we moved it up here. Good distribution, right? What's up, LC? How you doing? Yeah, we still have 9 minutes left in A period. Oh, rough days at work. Right now we sold all that product. Now we got to put it on sale, right? I'm good. I'm baking in my office. It's really hot in here. That's okay. Right. So now what's next? Yeah, the blue lines are the first standard deviation off of VWAP. There's a bit of room between VWAP and the blue lines. So I'm gonna ask the coaching class. Do you guys want to do a price action lab today? Those of you in the coaching class. I might want to do it maybe an hour later, so it'll be a little cooler in my office. Do you guys mind if we do it like at noon? Let's make sure that I have no one-on-ones. I don't think I do. Okay, I'll uh, I'll announce it. Like, you know what? I might as well just do it 11 because if I change the times around, it confuses people. Pretty good, eh, Lear? What I'll do for this for the price action lab, it'll be at 11 as it usually is. We'll just keep it to half an hour. If you guys don't have a lot to say, we'll shut it down early, okay? See another rotation here. See that, folks? This is the rotation of acquisition. This is the rotation of distribution. It's beautiful. That's a very hard look below and fail, Travis, because it happens so quick, right? The levels work. It's a beautiful trade, but are you fast enough? It's tough because the seller, if you did the look below and fail here, the seller was up here at the 28, right? The tape is fast. What does that mean? That means the market's moving fast, so it's harder to react. That's why you really, really want to practice manipulating your software on the sim, right? Because trading is still a physical act, and you need to know where all the buttons are so you can hit them quick. Range is huge. The nice thing is we don't have to capture the whole range, right? 5 points here, 4 points there on 3 to 5 contracts, right? You're doing okay. Don't overtrade. Exactly, right, team? Steal a little there, steal a little here. The moves are big. You know, you've got 72 to 96 in 1 minute candle, right? So if you're just starting trading, right, and you're watching these markets, right, don't feel bad if you can't trade them, right? They're very challenging to trade. And even professional traders, you know, they're getting cut up here and there, right? What's my preferred entry? So are you talking like perfect world or reality? Because when you talk about trades that you didn't take, you have to go, okay, this is a perfect world, right? And the reality is I'm probably going to be buying here. Do you know what I mean, Julian? Remember what we talked about on our call, right? So there's a perfect world trade after the fact, but what's the actual reality? The actual reality is I'm going to be buying higher. because I'm not going to get the bottom, right? And am I going to get the top? No. Does that make sense, Julian? And what's going to be perfect for me is not going to be perfect for you. That means you got to keep practicing it over and over and over and over again. So right now there is no trade for me because I like the look below and fail. That has not happened. I did not take this trade here. So there is nothing for me to do but sit and watch. Depends on how fast the market's moving, James. Right? In a perfect world, I'd love the candle to close above the level. If the market's moving really quick, I might not get a chance. I might have to just grab the offer. Right? So it's and it's never the same twice. Ooh. So for example, Julian, say if I was long 19, right? I'm going to have my stop at 16. I have to use a bigger stop, and most probably I'm going to get stopped out because I'm too early. Thanks, Ben. So if there's news coming, don't trade. Your platform froze? Yeah, that's going to be common, right? Because retail traders, we don't have, right? We have, you know, it's not like we're F1 drivers driving an F1 car. We're out there in go-karts compared to the institutional people, right? So they have the technology, they have the capital and the sophistication, right? That's why we have to really be selective about when we freeze. And that is why somebody earlier in the session, in the morning session, asked me, do I trade news? And I'm like, hell no. No way, no chance in hell you're going to suck me into trading around news. Right? I wasn't born yesterday. Right? Didn't just fall off the turnip truck. So Napshark, you're going to ask me, should I buy that? Yeah, if you were fast enough, you could have. I wasn't. Right? And while the news is shaking out, right? Yeah, we pay $40 for our data, right? Exactly, Joe. Right? And when you work at a hedge fund or a money manager, their tech is like top notch, right? Ah, a Fed president. Lovely. Just what we need. Now we're coming back right into that cost basis, right? Because we sold our product and now we're back to cost basis. So Julian, look below and fail of 97.5. Seller at 4. Right? So you got to be really, really quick. And let's face it, I'd love to say I'm that quick today, but I'm not. I had one decent trade. I'm pretty much done. Right? Right? I've been up since 5 in the morning. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon here. As the day progresses, I am not going to be as mentally sharp. I'm going to get tired. It's the end of the week. My reflexes are not what they should be. Should I be trading size? Hell no. In this market? Hell no. Do you see how you kind of put together a little common sense? There's a seller at 97, right? And Lear was saying watch 83. That might be, yeah, it's just the middle of the cost basis here. See? Takes time. You'll get there. Hey, aren't you supposed to be on vacation right now? What are you doing? I mean, there's dedication, but go have some fun. So if we clear the middle of this blue zone, you'll be looking for around 13. What is that level here? 13 and a quarter, 13. See? Now we've cleared out those sellers at VWAP, Julian. So you'll be looking for that 13 and a quarter for the next place where the sellers are going to step in. Okay, so folks, got to do a little bit of a shameless plug for the room. Okay, we have that 25% off, and you got to use this code. Let me go put the code in for you folks. One sec. There's 16 quarter. Holy jeez. Man, you got to be really careful shorting the front end of these moves. Nice trade, AZS. Well done. Way to capture those buyers. Way to capture those buyers. Beautiful. Okay? Really nicely done. Now, if we've got enough people trapped short under 16, we're going to push this thing up to that A high. Hey, that's okay, right? 6 points on a micro, I'll take that all day. Everybody's like, oh, you don't trade for a lot. It's like, if I'm trading the mini and I trade 3 to 5 contracts for 3 to 4 points, right? And I manage my risk, I can make a living, right? It's okay to be late, Jerry. It's a fast market. It's a fast market. Well, good for you swing trading this market. As long as you manage your risk and you have the account size to do it, you're good to go. 2 hours from now, the Chinese tariffs take into effect. Okay. And for those of you who want to learn how to swing trade, we teach all that stuff in the room too, right? We like to get you scalping at first, trading fast, not just to trade fast, but to think fast. We want to develop your execution skills so when you are in a longer term trade, right, that you have your wits about you. So we came into cost basis, right? Stopped selling, raised price. Learn cost basis in inventory. Well, Adrian, have you looked at Apple? Have you looked at how much the float is in Apple, who owns it, and how much volume trades on a daily basis compared to the amount of stock available for trading? There's 63% of the float in Apple is locked, right? It's locked by people who are holding it longer than this administration is going to be in office, right? And they have a 30 to 40 year hold. So unless Apple goes, you know what, we're not making electronics anymore. We're going to make cotton balls, or we're going to sell Apple. We're going to sell oranges. Then there's going to be a massive exodus of the stock, right? Until there's a massive material change. Now there has been material change in economic policy, which has been reflected in the stock. But then people are like, oh, if I'm buying this for 20 years, what do I care what happens over the next 4? Right? Now we're coming back to that 97.5 cost basis. Always think about that, folks. Right? When a stock is locked up, right? When the people who own the stock, now the people also, Adrian, who own Apple, they didn't buy it on margin, right? BlackRock has $11 trillion under management. They don't need to borrow money to buy Apple stock, right? So when the market comes off, they don't have to sell it. If you own your stock for cash, you don't have to sell it. If you paid for stock with borrowed money, well, your bookie's going to come and he's going to want their money back. That's why I call this COVID. This I call this. These are the great train. These are the great train robberies, the great margin robberies, right? This is a margin heist. This takes out all the people who are long using borrowed money. Kaboom! Same with COVID, right? COVID happened, and then the market rebounded to new highs, right? Because we shook out all the margin players, right? When you borrow money to buy stock, you are vulnerable. So now we got a bigger rotation going here. See? And do you notice they magically stop selling when they come down to 52.96? Kind of curious. So to look for that today. Maybe we get some nice chop for you guys to trade. I'm going to be cutting this short just a little bit today. So the session usually shuts off in about 15 minutes. Right? I'm going to cut it a little short today. Kind of losing my voice. And I have to do another session in 45 minutes, so I thank you all for being with us. Come visit us at Microfutures, those who are watching on YouTube. Right? Have a wonderful weekend. Please be safe out there. Folks in the coaching class, I will see you in 45 minutes. If anybody is interested in one-on-one coaching, reach out to me. I'll be happy to do a phone call with you to discuss your trading needs. Right? And if anybody's interested in one-on-one coaching, reach out. We'll do a one-on-one. Right? We'll do a call and you can see what it's like. Right? That's free of charge. No problem. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much. Please be safe out there. Right? And remember, folks, don't take candy from strange market makers. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you bright and early on Monday morning. Hey, if something crazy happens, I might do a session Sunday night. Thanks, everyone. Bye for now.